Hi, Janelle. Hi. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Whoever celebrates Valentine's Day, wanted to come on here and say hi. And you know what? Hey, Sandy. Yay, Sarah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for today's live. This look that we put. Hi, Prava. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Again, whoever celebrates Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. Hi, Bianca. I'm super excited to come on here because, hi, Sarah. A week ago, I featured a look that I saw from Jocelyn Emerson. She's our guest today. And it was the coolest thing ever. You know, we all love like the diamond braid and the infinity braid, but Jocelyn kind of took it to a whole new level. And so I know, hi, aw, you guys, you're so sweet. Oh yeah, thank you, Sandy. um, Jocelyn kind of took it to a whole new level. So it was so exciting to see a look. Hi. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Hi, June. She did a infinity diamond braid like in the shape of a star. So what it really excites me is when I see a braid, of course, because you know I love braids, are just a design that we haven't seen before. So I was so thrilled to see this look. Featured it right away because it was new, it was fresh, it was something different. You all went bananas for it. So I thought it would be absolutely perfect if we had our next IG Live to have Jocelyn come on and teach us this braid. So I'm really excited. I'm totally going to do this look because it challenges me. It's something I've never seen before. So I'm really excited to have Jocelyn on. So thank you all for just taking a moment out of your Monday to come on here and say hi. And I'm going to get Jocelyn on here right away. I'm not going to wait any longer. If you guys have any questions or anything at all as we do this, please feel free to ask a question. I'm going to be learning the braid as well as reading all the comments. So let's get Jocelyn on here. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hi. Hi, everyone. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Jocelyn! Oh my goodness. It's so wonderful to see your face. I
You too.
adore you. You and I have spent really great conversations together. So I'm always so happy to have your hair looks so good too.
Thanks.
Look
This
at
is
you.
just for you.
I was like, ooh, look at you, girl. I love your hair. It looks so beautiful. I love the waves. So I saw this braid. You know, I love the infinity braid. I love the diamond braid. These are braids that I teach in person and in class. They're so great. They're a great alternative to a half up look for a bridal party. I'm going to move this here like that. Okay. So when I saw your diamond star braid, I, of course, stopped my scroll immediately, screenshot it. I couldn't feature it fast enough because I was so excited for our community to see this because we haven't seen anything like it before. So then I read a little bit of your story of like, you were inspired by another creator. So kind of tell us a little bit about where you found this braid and a little bit of the story behind it, because I think it's a beautiful story. And then we'll kind of get started to learn this.
Well, it's a sad story, actually. In 2020, I was following this family. Her page is Little Miss Mama.
Yes.
She lives in California, and she had the most beautiful daughter named Stevie.
Yes.
And so her family found out she had brain cancer that was incurable. They found out it was so sudden, like she passed within, I want to say, a couple months. And her mom she was sharing her journey every step of the way. It was like heart-wrenching, where I just would cry every time I read her
Yeah.
post, and it's like you feel like you're part of the family and
Yeah.
experiencing that with them. So they started this thing, Stars for Stevie.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And it was just like a way that people could show that they were thinking about her. They had stars, all over their house. And
Oh, oh my
so,
God, I got chills. I love
yeah.
it.
So that
Yeah.
was around the time that I had learned the diamond infinity braid. And
Okay.
I'm looking at the diamond and I'm thinking, you can make a triangle out of this. I wonder how hard it would be to try to make a star for Stevie. And
Oh,
so that's what I did. And I actually did it a little differently than I did it this time. And I
okay.
did it in a way harder way. Like it was extremely challenging the first time.
The
Plus,
first time. Okay.
I was
So the
new to
one that you
Infinity.
posted, the one that you featured, was that the hard way?
No,
Okay.
the one that you just featured, I found a much easier way.
Okay.
Because I think the hardest part for me on this is bringing in the side too. And so
Yeah.
I finally found a little bit easier way. So I'm excited to show that to you guys
Oh
because
my gosh.
it would not have been fun to try to do it like I did the first time.
Okay. No, I agree. Like I said, I'm so fascinated with braids. I love the fact that we are using different braids in like alternate braids to do half up looks in bridal parties. Oh, wait, what is that? We should all of us at one point put these stars. Oh,
Yes,
oh my God. Okay.
absolutely. You
Okay.
use the
We're going to come
hashtag.
back to that.
That's a
Yes.
hashtag that she follows is Stars for Stevie. So if you
Yep.
post it, use that hashtag. I'm sure she would love to be knowing that all these people are thinking of them still.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So at the end, and in the caption when we share this, we're going to add that hashtag stars for Stevie. And then anybody that recreates this look, because I know we're going to see it
Yeah.
from here on out, people are going to challenge themselves. We're going to do stars for Stevie. So this can all go back and we can think about. I did follow the page that you were following, and I kind of went through and spent some time reading the story and seeing her. And she was the most beautiful, beautiful little girl, angel, amazing. So I invite you to go visit and show some love. And but if we hashtag stars for Stevie and then have, oh my gosh, I have chills. I love this. Then that was just a beautiful gift that we are remembering her beautiful daughter, and we're also learning something that's really incredible, and then we'll continue to do that as we share it with our community. I think that's a great idea. So
Yeah, love that.
without, let's see here. Ah, sweetheart, yes. Oh yes, I know, goosebumps. I'm totally everyone's on here. So fun. Okay, so for those that are following along, where you need Happy Valentine's Day from Ireland, yay! For those of you that are following along, I have my mannequin, and you need to collapse the comment over Jocelyn's beautiful square right here. Go ahead and tap the top corner of the comments on the left, and those should collapse your comments so you'll be able to see a little bit better, because sometimes the comments cover up a lot. But we have a way where we can collapse those and you guys can see Jocelyn's mannequin a little bit better. So that's just a little side note, because I know a lot of us are going to be following along in challenging ourselves with this look. I cannot wait to master it and put it on my page. So, all right. So what do we do first, dear?
Okay, so the way that I prepped her is I had actually just recently washed and blow dried her, which I had a lot of product buildup. So you want to make sure you're using pretty clean hair, like not a whole lot throughout where it's going to get in your way. It'll make it a lot easier if it's just soft. And I just threw in a really soft curl, which you don't have to do if you don't want to. So very minimal prep to start.
Yep.
And so,
but I do agree, like cleaner hair on a braid like this, or any type of intricate braid, is going to be easier. So it's not as frizzy, but you'll be able to handle the hair a little bit more instead of having like a lot of texture. So I hope mine's okay.
Yeah.
Mine's a little dirty, but I put some I put like a smoothing cream
Yeah.
on from Air, which I love, 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 love,
Yeah.
love, 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 love.
You'll definitely want a smoothing cream on hand. So I got one too. This is the #4 hair care smoothing balm,
Nice.
which is
Perfect.
just nice and lightweight. So,
Okay, so we have
okay.
our mannequins.
Yes. So the first thing you want to do is you want to think about where you want your star to sit. So I love when half ups sit right around the occipital bone. And
Okay.
so you want to picture where your star is going to sit
Okay.
around, so you can know exactly where you want the top to start, so that the center of the star falls where you want it to.
Yes.
And so then you'll want your hair to be really smoothed back. So you want to make sure that all the hair is going straight down. I'm just using a pick to smooth all
Somebody
that
asked
out.
if it was a wig. No, these are mannequins with really long hair.
Yes. And another thing about this look is if you're doing this on a real person, I would never choose this look for anybody with layers or shorter hair, because they're just going to start to fray out. Like, this is not for every person. So
Okay.
you'll want someone with long hair and no shorter layers for this look.
Okay, perfect. So that's good to know. So I think because it has so many of the stars, you really, layered hair is probably not the best.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to want to start, we want to try to make sure we're getting right in the center of the head with a small piece to start.
Okay.
And let me know if I'm close enough where you guys can see what I'm doing.
I think it's good. I'm going to collapse these comments. Oh, perfect. Okay.
I want to make sure I'm standing to the side. So if mine's a little off center, I apologize. I would normally be standing right behind her.
I know every time I teach a braid on online, it always comes off a little centered because I'm like having to teach it, but also like twisting my body. So
That's funny.
no worries on that, my friend.
Okay. So we're going to start the way that we would start a diamond infinity braid. So we're going to split. Let me know if you guys are familiar with how you make an infinity braid. We're going to take our section in half. And these two pieces are really going to stay still throughout. So we're going to take one piece off the bottom as our moving section. And that is going to wrap in a figure 8 around our two still sections.
So do you take the figure 8 strand straight from the head or from the section?
I'm taking it, it's just below the section, but I
Okay.
just broke it off of the section that I was already holding.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So then I have 3 sections. One is sitting just between the other 2 that I split in half here.
Yep.
And I'm going to take that section that I broke off the bottom, and I'm going to wrap it up and over.
Yes.
One side, and then under, and then I'm going to bring it over and under my next section.
Correct. So you're making a figure 8. So the center
Exactly,
goes
like
up and over the right, and then up and over the left, back to the center.
Yes, and for me, I find it easier. I'm always holding my 2 sections that are remaining still away from each other. So I'm kind of pulling them away. That's going to keep my braid tighter.
I agree.
So as we go, I wrapped it around each piece once, and now I'm going to add in a really small section of hair next to my left section.
Yep.
Before I wrap my moving section back up and over.
Yeah.
And you want it to keep these tight together. Again, you can pull these 2 apart and make sure that it's nice and tight the entire way.
So before you take the traveling section, the figure 8,
yes,
you're going to add, I call them 2 poles. So you have like the stationary poles. You're going to add hair to each pole before you wrap the traveling strand around.
Yes. And I want the pieces that I'm adding in to sit on the side of the section. So I'm not pulling them on top or underneath. Okay. I'm just lining them right up to the side. And I'm going to do that just for a few sections now until I get it as wide as I want it. And you can really take as big or as little sections right now as you want.
Yep.
And that'll affect how quickly it starts to form your triangle.
And another trick too is if you need to tighten that infinity braid up, see how the sections, the traveling strand is tight. Another trick is to take that strand and then pull up like this. That tightens it, as well as also taking those sections and pulling them apart just to keep them tight.
And also the pieces that I'm adding in, I'm bringing them all the way down from the top.
Yes. And then how do you add to the traveling strand if it falls short of, it's like getting too short?
So that I am taking off of my still sections.
Okay, so from underneath?
Not from underneath. I'm not pulling any hair off the head for that. When I do that, I'm actually going to break a piece off of one of my sections that is not moving, and then I add it to that piece as I wrap
Yes. So you're taking hair from the poles, the two sections.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And there was a question, are we calling this the Infinity Diamond Star?
I've been calling it the Infinity Star, but I mean, it's the same gist as the diamond braid.
Ooh.
So I see why that's like popping into your head.
It is, because, okay, so we'll call it the Infinity Star. I like that. We have to name it, Jocelyn.
Right?
Okay, so this is the Infinity Star, which is a version of the Infinity Braid, which is a version of the diamond braid.
Exactly. So now that my strand is starting to get shorter, my traveling strand, I'm going to do that where I just wrapped under my right side, and I'm going to add a little bit of hair from the center of that right section, and I'm going to combine them in my hand with this traveling section before I wrap it over the left. So when your section starts to get too thin or too short, you're going to want to add it before, because if you make sure that stays nice and long and thick, you're not going to have quite as many frays coming off of your braid.
And then how many times are you adding to the top portion?
I am adding every single time right now.
No, I mean, how many
times
swipes are you going to go through?
So really until I'm happy with I'm looking at the top piece that's going to be like the top triangle of my star. So I want to keep adding until I get to the size that I want all of the triangles coming off of the star to be.
Wow.
But also I want to make sure that I'm bringing the pieces in from the crown wide enough where I want to hit just about behind the ears before I stop too.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I'm adding in enough hair that I'm getting as far over with these coming in as I want.
Do you like that?
Yeah, perfect. So at this point, before we get too far too, you can go ahead and stretch some of the hair out in the crown. This gets harder to do the further you get because it is just such a tight braid.
Yes, I agree.
So that's a good way to add some volume before we get too far. Actually, the picture I posted that you shared, I forgot to do this until I was much farther than this, and it was really hard to get that volume.
Here we're like, I mean, this is a good beginning, and now before we go further, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting that pinch in that crown so she has volume.
Yes. And you want to
do correct.
Slow, because it's once you pull it up too far, there's no going back on this.
Yes, so this is about patience and visual, but just being really delicate when you pinch and pull, because again, if you pull too much, it's kind of done.
Right. And also just making sure that it's a nice round shape.
Yeah, that looks great.
All right. So then we can keep going a few more times.
Okay, love it. Hello, Venezuela. We've got all the countries on here today.
So one more thing to think about as I'm adding in and I'm getting closer to what's going to be the center of my star. I don't want to be adding any hair from underneath right now into this braid. I'm only pulling from the top because I want to be able to fit my hand under this braid in a minute.
Okay.
So if you're grabbing hair from underneath, you're not going to be able to do that very easily.
That's why if you need to add to the traveling strand, you take hair from one of either side of the poles. Don't pull from here. Okay.
Let me know if any of you are having trouble understanding what I'm saying. This will probably take a couple times to practice, but you guys will get it. I am by no means like an intricate braiding specialist. I bet you Sandy Monzon will like blow this braid out of the water.
I can't wait.
Now.
I know Sandy's on here. Hi, Sandy. You need to take good notes, Sandy, because we're expecting.
Yeah, Sandy will teach me a better way to do this braid.
No. She, she's amazing. So yes, we can't wait to see Sandy's version of this.
Right, but this is a difficult braid, so give it a couple tries if you're struggling with it.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like, I don't even know how you're going to create the other stars part of it. So that's where I'm like, oh my goodness.
Good. Okay.
We'll do it.
We're almost to that point. So I'm going to add, I think, one more section on each side before we start to think about what's the very center where all these triangles meet. You think about that shape that's in the middle of a star.
Yeah. This is what it looks like so far. So that's your 1 point, your top of the star.
Exactly. And again, as you keep adding into your top of the star, you're so quick, you're already like done with this part. So don't go too far down with it if you're ahead of me.
I know. I think, should I just stop here? Like as far as like on the side?
I would stop there. And I'm just almost to that point. So
I know that's what everyone says when we do braids on here. They're like,
you're so fast. You're so fast. Yeah.
Well, I teach braids in person. So there's a lot of hours of practice, let me tell you.
Yeah. So you can be teaching this next. So again, my traveling section is getting pretty small and thin. So I'm going to break a piece off. And I am going to add it from one of my pole sections. I like that phrase.
Poles.
And now that I'm happy with the shape of this triangle. And so now I'm working on the center of my braid, which, I'm going to change one little thing. And the reason is you want to make sure that these sections are about the same size. And so the first time I added hair to my moving section, I took it from this side. And so I try to alternate so that I can keep what's hair is left about the same piece. So I'm going to switch that and take it from this side now.
Okay. Yeah. I would alternate which pole you take hair from to add to the traveling strands so they still are equal in width.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm not adding any more hair. And I'm just going to go straight down until I have a long enough piece that if you look at the bottom of this triangle, think about how far across that is. And that's about how far down you want to go with it so that your triangles can meet from the side and have about the same space to sit on that part. Does that make sense?
Okay, so instead of adding to the poles, you're just going to do a regular infinity braid to add some space for the bases of the stars to meet?
Exactly. So I only want enough space that's about the same way across as the bottom of this top triangle. So that's
And
how
so
far I'm going to go down.
how many times would you say you went and did a figure eight without adding hair to make that space down below?
My gosh, I don't even know how many times. I'm really going more so by the length down from where the hair stops being added in until, so I'm looking at, I'd say almost an inch across here. So that's about how far down I want this to sit.
So about 4 times around?
Yeah, I'd say about 4 that might be the right amount.
So that's so interesting because you have to make a space where all the stars are going to meet.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if your hair is starting to look frizzy throughout, you want to make sure you keep it soft. So I'm going to add a little bit more smoothing balm, which I already had some in the hair, especially to this traveling section. You want that to stay soft so that all the little frays aren't popping out, which can make it look a little messy.
So here I've added the infinity base. We're going to call it the infinity base. Is that about right?
I'd go maybe like one more time around on each side.
Okay.
And again, you want to be able to put your hand completely behind this. So if you had pulled hair underneath, you want to go a little bit further so that you can stick your hand right under that.
Oh, all right, girl. Okay, so here's that for people to see a close up. So I have and where you add the hair and then we stopped adding hair and then I just did a regular infinity. So to have more space for the diamonds to meet. Okay.
Okay, so I am almost there. Yeah, I'd say. I'm going to do one more around this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work on the bottom 2 triangles first. And to do that, I am going to take a clip. I'm going to drop one of my pole sections, and I'm going to clip it to the side out of the way.
Okay, so you're going to clip that to the side out of the way. There we go.
Okay, so now we are going to make how we do the reverse part of the diamond when you're coming down. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, when you start to remove pieces from each side. So you're going to want to have a couple clips available to keep hair out of your way. So I'm going to add one clip over here so that as I'm taking hair out of this, I can just tuck it out of my way and not worry about grabbing those pieces.
Okay.
Okay, so I still have my traveling section here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split one of my pole sections now in half.
Okay, so we've got the left pole is tucked away, the right pole and the traveling strand. You're now going to break this one into 2.
Exactly. And so now I'm going to do the figure 8 motion once around this piece before I start to take hair out of each side. And I'm the same way that I added hair every single time here on top, I'm going to remove a small piece of hair every single time around. And we don't want to take too much out at once because we want to make sure that we don't get too small too quick. That way it can be about the same size triangle as up top.
Okay.
Tuck a piece of hair off the side of the left pole section now. And then I'm going to, again, do the figure 8 motion around. And then again, I'm going to now break a piece off of the side of the right pole section, and I'm going to tuck that to the side before I go around again.
Okay.
And again, make sure you're pulling this tight so there's not gaps.
Okay, so this is super interesting because you're doing the breakaway part on each pull separately like this.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is so, I know. I'm like, this is a braid I've never even imagined doing before. So it's just the same mechanics. So once you
Right.
have it down of how to do the diamond or the
Exactly.
infinity, it's really the diamond because you're adding and then you're taking away.
Right.
Then it's just a matter of repeating. So
Yep. I think the hardest part for this one for me to figure out at first was how to bring in the side pieces. Because this is the first time I ever did something like this. This is all I did was I did this and then I did two down the side and it almost looked to me like a Mercedes symbol.
totally Mercedes symbol. Yes.
Yeah. And that's when the star idea hit me, like how I could do that.
So the only thing that seems to be a little problematic is that pole that you've split in half is a lot skinnier.
Right. But you're right. That's why we want to make sure that we're taking really tiny sections off of this.
Yes.
So you
So
don't want to
really,
lose too
yeah,
much hair fast.
super tiny sections as you break away to make the bottom part of a diamond braid.
Right. These are just really little pieces I'm taking off. And you want to be taking off about the same amount every single time. So try to keep
Correct.
it consistent.
So as you get to master this braid, those are the things that you kind of pay attention to because I think I might have taken a little bit too much in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's working. I just don't know how big this diamond on the right is going to be. But
Yeah, that's why I mean you'll want to practice it a couple times. I would be shocked, if anyone other than Sandy and maybe some Ira's jewelry get this on the first time. But
Shayla and Sandy. Shayla and Sandy.
I didn't get this on the first time. I'm sure some of you will, but again, I'm not like the master braider. So that should give you confidence that if I figured it out, you definitely can.
Well, again, it's one of those things where it's like once you get the mechanics of how to do a diamond braid, you're just branching off and doing it off of other pieces. And so you can do it. It's just you might have to go back and practice what are the sizings like? Like, you know what I mean? Just so it all looks equal.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I'm at here. Am I good?
You're good. So once you get it small enough at the bottom where you're happy, then you'll just take a clear elastic. You'll drop one of the pull pieces and you're going to loop your traveling section
Yes.
to one pull piece.
Yes.
Really tight, and be careful not to be grabbing any strands of hair from anywhere else when you loop it.
Okay, I'm cutting it off here. Oops. Dropped one. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Any questions so far? Who's this braid? Let's see, is really incredible. It is. I want you all to try it and then hashtag stars for Stevie, Stevie. Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so I'm getting close to the bottom. You're going to be waiting on me a lot.
No, I'm so intrigued by this. Okay.
A little bit of hair to my
Which mannequin are you guys using? Today, I have Mustafa.
I have Louisa by Le Mirage.
Louisa from Le Mirage.
Yes.
Le Mirage is amazing. Mustafa has a beautiful mannequin. Cassia Fortuna has a beautiful mannequin.
Yes, I want
Um, I
that.
use Pivot Point. They have a great mannequin. I do have to say Pivot Point has the best tripods ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever, ever, ever. So if you're looking for an incredible tripod that's going to last you for 20 years, I just bought I replaced my Universal because my first one I had for almost 20 years. It's the Universal tripod off of Pivot Point. And if you go to Beyond the Ponytail, if you go to beyondtheponytail.com and go to the shop section, you'll see who I've chosen from Pivot Point. You'll get discount codes that you can use on their website for 20% off, which is good because it's not cheap. So any little discount you can get, absolutely use it, because they get, the tripods and everything are pricey, but that's definitely going to last you for years and years and years and years to come. So by far, Pivot Point for me is the best tripod I've ever used.
I agree. That's the one I'm using too.
I think it's BTP 20. So if you go to pivotpointinternational.com and you get to the cart, add to cart, if you use BTP 20, you get 20% off your entire order of whatever you order. So yes, Pivot Point's the best.
Okay, so I just tied off my first triangle piece coming off the bottom. Now I'm going to remove this clip.
Okay.
And I'm going to split these apart so that I'm back to my first original 2 sections. And I'm just going to bend this one out of my way. One thing I love about these is now they're really flexible, which is how you can shape them into the star shape. It doesn't have to sit down like you had it. You can bend it over to the side.
Yes.
And then
I love it. So that's
clip.
our first star.
Yes.
So this is probably going to be a little bit smaller than this one, but that's where we practice.
Yeah.
To kind of get it symmetrically right. I love it.
We're gonna get our clips ready to do the same thing with this other piece. So I'm gonna clip this out of my way.
Okay.
I'm gonna add another clip on this side now so that the hair that I'm breaking off here, I can just tuck over the clip and out of my way.
Okay, so we've got the first star clipped away. And then now we're back to the other original pole, and then we're gonna make the infinity at the bottom. I mean, off of this side.
So I'm just adding a tiny bit more smoothing cream here.
Yes, I need to too.
This is nice and detangled.
Annie Johnson's on here, my dear sweet.
Oh, hi.
I know, she's so great. She's beautiful work, Annie.
Love her work.
We love you, Annie. Yes, Annie, you need to try this. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see this. I love it. Thank you for hosting this. I'm stoked to see how mine comes out, right? Tara, Braided by Tara. Please tag us on all of your recreations. We share them in our stories. And then also, if we hashtag stars for Stevie, STVIE, then we will just send a bunch of love and inspiration to that family, which I think is amazing. So excited to do this. I love you both. Aw, Annie, we love you. You're so cute.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to split this side in half, and I'm going to take a little piece off of one of the sides as my new traveling section. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go once around each side. I want to make sure I pull this one especially tight so that I try to meet it to the middle.
Okay. So I kind of, let me make sure I do this correctly. So we are taking this whole section, and are we splitting this and saving it anywhere, or no?
Nope, you're going to do this exact same thing as the other side. You're just going to take your traveling section out of that piece though now, not from underneath or anywhere else.
Yeah. So here's my quick question, and I'm totally thinking ahead. How are we, we'll probably connect these two things to create the bottom star?
No. So
okay, then don't, I'm not gonna, I don't want to go further because I don't want to interrupt anybody. I mean,
these are the bottom 2 pieces of our star for now. So
Oh.
when we release the hairs that are coming off, that we broke off of each piece, they're going to flow together just into the bottom as our half up, you know, the hair that's down.
Okay.
But we're going to make 2 more triangles here and here when we're done with these. And these will be our bottom 2 pieces of the star.
Oh, good Lord. John.
So yeah, we still got some more work to do.
Okay, so we're going to do, this one's going to be our bottom star.
Yep. Yeah,
okay,
both.
Perfect.
Yes.
So if everyone now goes to that other pole and do the bottom part of the infinity braid.
Yes. So same thing. I break a little piece of hair each time around off of each side, and I'm going to tuck them to the side out of the way before I do another figure 8 around.
Yes. So make sure that before you start to break away that you take that traveling strand and you wrap it around once and then you break away.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So
you can see the further we get down with this, why this would not work with someone with layers.
Correct. Oh, 100%. And I think the rule of thumb for diamond braids is, for me, what I try to do to make it equal is however many you add at the top, that's how many you break away.
Yeah.
Because then aesthetically, you're kind of creating this shape, the same shape on top and on the bottom.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When I looked back at the picture that I posted that you shared, I tried to count to see if I could tell how many times around.
Okay.
It looked like they were all about 7 times around in that picture.
So that is a good thing to keep in mind. So if you're adding 7 times to the top, then you're going to want to take away 7 times at the bottom. And so that's so it looks symmetrical, just like a star.
Exactly. And I go a lot just by looking at it too. Again, like you said, the top, we're using both sections, which makes it thicker, more hair. And down here, we're only down to half. So if you need to do smaller sections and more times around, I think more importantly, to get them around the same size is more important than how many times around. Although if you can do both, great. But just try to eyeball it and see that it's about the same size and not counting this center part. Just at the top where it's the triangle.
I think is Kylie on here? Balayage Bride. I know that if she is, have her, if you can like wave or something, because I want to make sure that you are trying this as well, my friend. I don't know if she's on here. She said she was going to jump on here. Or Sandy, are you on here, Sandy? Sandy Monzon. Let's see.
Yeah, I know I had a lot of people turning on their countdown to get on this.
I love that. Heck yeah. You know why? It's because it's something new that we haven't seen. And actually, I mean, if you know how to do the diamond braid, then it's not that hard.
Right.
You're just doing the diamond braid over and over again. But aesthetically, it's so cool looking. That's why it's like, as soon as I saw it, I swear I was like, all right, I know what my next feature is going to be.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And I always love it because nobody knows when I'm going to feature them. Like, I don't call and tell you or message you or anything. It's always like a total surprise.
I love that.
Is Sandy going to try a multiple star look? I caught the end of that convo, had to answer a call. Yes, Kylie. Of course, Sandy will get her hands on this braid. And, but I wanted to make sure that you were on. Oh, yes, Lynn. Hi, love. I wanted to make sure that you were on here. So, if you're trying this now or if you're just watching. And Lynn, hi, Lynn. Lynn, you're going to totally try this. I can't wait. Are you following along now or are you just watching? see. Shiva, oh yes, girl. I know. This is so fun.
I love this one. So one idea that's like popped into my head that I'd love to try to figure out how to do with this is if I could make like 3 little stars sitting in the shape of like a crown on the back, but just like sectioning wise, I don't know if it's possible. I can't figure it out. So that's my challenge to Sandy. If you're on, figure that out for me.
Right. We'll send her some private conversations of how she can take this and design another look. Okay, so I'm kind of done with that as well.
Okay.
How are you looking?
I am very close with this side. And then I'm gonna just tie it off the same way I tied off the other side. And one thing, like aesthetically, I try to remember that I tied off on the side closest to the face. So I'm gonna try to tie off on the side closest to the face on this side too.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to take that down.
One more time around and then I am ready.
Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with this. So this is the Mercedes.
Yes. We could make Mercedes advertisements. Maybe
here's the Mercedes brand star for whoever has a Mercedes, which I think is so fun.
Okay.
So here's where I went a little thick right here. So next time, knowing like what that looks like and seeing how this is intricate and this is intricate, is I would probably go a little thinner here on these, just so aesthetically it kind of looks like it all matches.
Yeah, and trying
like the Mercedes of braids. This is the Mercedes of braids. I love that.
That's so funny. So I'm gonna take my clips out now. And I am going to spread these out. As you can see, they're flexible. So that is how I'm going to get my bottom 2 pieces of my star.
Yeah.
And all this hair can meet together so that there's no gaps.
And just see this right here, I would go tighter. So those sections needed to be thinner. But first time, not bad, not bad. And then now we're going to have another one coming this way and another one coming that way.
Yes.
Girl,
okay.
Crazy.
So
okay, Rada. Hi, Rada. Let's see. I definitely want to try doing this gorgeous gray. They are both very. You guys you're so sweet. Hey, Paris. Nice to have you on. Paris is a part of our BTP society. Oh my God, Lynn, you got to look at her original post. It's so sweet. Yes, stars for Stevie. I want you to go ahead and there's a story behind what inspired Jocelyn to create this star. So we talked about it at the beginning of the video. And let's see here. There was some other the Mercedes of braids. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, it looks okay, perfect. So now we're at, sorry, my chair's making funny noises. I know, it's like, I swear it's my chair. So we have the Mercedes of braids. So now we want to actually make it a star. So how in the heck are we going to do that, Jocelyn?
Okay. So before I tell you what to do, I'm going to tell you what not to do.
Okay.
The first time I did this, in my brain, I was thinking to make a triangle, I have to do it the same way as the top, where I start really small and I add pieces on each side to make a triangle. That was so difficult to do it that way. Okay. So I found that it is so much easier to use the same breakaway method as not adding in. So in order to do that, ooh, I'm knocking stuff down here. We're going to take a section from each of the sides, rounding back. And you want to take a nice round section so that it'll sit and blend right into this. And then we want to try to get about the same thickness around as the
Hi, Anna.
bottom
Yay,
sections were.
Anna's on here. I'm going to send you a message later, Anna. Later
Okay.
today. Will this video be on your page for later? Absolutely. Yes.
So same thing. I'm going to take a section from each side. I want them to be about the same density.
Okay.
I want them to be coming from about the same spot so that this looks good from the top, from the front and the sides too.
Correct. Okay. Let's see here.
Okay, and once
Hey, Alexandra, you have to try this braid. This has your name on it. Totally.
yes, she will kill it for sure.
She would totally kill it. And Anna too. Okay.
Okay, so I'm holding a piece from each side.
All right, girl. Let's see. We've got a piece from this side, a piece from that side, all the way to the front, so it looks good as a half up.
Yes, I'm gonna just rub a little bit of my smoothing balm through these ends, just because they're feeling a little bit dry and frizzy. And again, you want these to be about the same density so that they make the same size. And so now you'll see why it was so important that we left space underneath this middle part. Is what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross these underneath.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull these kind of tight.
Cross it underneath. You're going to cross it underneath, like crisscross it underneath?
Crisscross them underneath and then pull them out on the other side. And you want to pull those so that they sit nice and tight.
Okay. I'm like on the edge of my seat here, waiting.
This way is so much easier, so you're going to love it. So then you want a few bobby pins handy. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to weave a bobby pin through where my sections cross. I'd say like about 2 coming from each side to make sure that those stay nice and tightly in place underneath there.
Okay, so you're weaving a bobby pin. Let me get a bobby pin.
Just doing that in and out motion with your pin without opening your pin is going to make sure those stay in there, because it's going to be too big of a piece of hair to open your bobby pin and try to fit that all in one. It's not going to stay and it's not going to be flexible.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and say, so you've taken those 2 sides, you've crisscrossed them under the Mercedes braid, and now you're taking a clip to kind of keep them close to the scalp.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're going to take the bobby pin and you're going to weave it so you're almost pinning that crisscross.
Yep, and I'm just pushing the pin straight up so that it sits right underneath this top triangle and you're not going to see it from either side.
Okay, so we're going to pin it so it stays put. And then you do that on the other side?
Yeah, I'd say I used about 4 bobby pins doing this just to make sure it's secure, but
so could you like flip up the Mercedes braid so you can kind of crisscross these better?
Yeah, you can totally do that. It's not going to mess it up.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're crisscrossing these and then you're bobby pinning them into place where they crisscross.
Yeah, so that the sides are coming straight out.
All right, I'm doing it.
If you need to put it up like that to pin, you can, but you'll also want to make sure that they're sitting right underneath that center section we made for our braid when you bring it down. So if you lower it and you see that it's not sitting perfectly under that center section, you'll want to adjust to make sure it is.
Okay, so now that goes down and I am pretty centered. So now I have Mercedes braid. If you flip up, then that underneath, it's not very pretty, but I've crisscrossed those and pinned them into place. And then I've dropped a Mercedes so they cover the pins. Is that right?
Yes. The only thing is just try to get your pins as close to the center of this top triangle as you can, not off to the sides. That way you can't see them at all.
Yes, that's where I'll practice. Where you want to really kind of pin them right where that crisscross is. So it's right underneath this very star of the very top of the Mercedes braid.
All right, I can try to like bend mine up if you want to see. Like mine aren't really, my pins aren't crossing. If you can see that, they're really going straight up in there.
I love that. That's a good trick to kind of keep those in place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we have basically the same thing as we had right down here.
Yes. Now you just do it to that.
Yes. So we're just going to break away. We're going to split this section in half.
Yeah. And then do what we've been doing.
Yes. And you want to make sure it's really important not to be grabbing hair from any other section. So if you need to pin this out of your way, you can add a clip to each side so that as you break away, you can get that hair cleanly out of the way.
And then that's going to shoot off there.
Oh, and another thing really quick is you can add a little bit of volume through these side pieces. Now that we have these bobby pinned in place before we go too far, that way that's consistent with the top. And I even like
that's a good trick to take the sides, crisscross them underneath, pin them into place, and then just do the shoot off. Like you have now more hair to do the bottom part of a diamond braid. Okay.
Okay. So
now you're going to be working kind of sideways.
Yeah, so this is the harder part for me, is it does feel awkward, but you want to hold the strands where you want that to sit, and I want it coming out.
So what you can do is you can tilt the head, obviously like on a mannequin, or if you're doing this on someone, they can just tilt their head like this. So you're working, instead of you shifting your body like this, have the mannequin or the person tilt their head, and then you can actually work more upright, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So again, we're splitting that in half. We're breaking off a piece that can be our traveling section, and we are going to do one figure eight around, really tight on this top one, especially so that it sits as close to that center as possible. So pull that apart really tight together. And then after one time around, again, we'll break off really little sections off the side.
Okay.
Before we continue our figure eight.
Okay, so I'm going to break this off. So now I'm working off of this section here, and I'm going to put a clip here to hold the section.
I'll try to get a little closer here for you guys.
Before I break away, I'm going to get my little traveling strand, and I'm going to do a figure eight to kind of begin the braid. So interesting. Okay, we're going to cross our fingers here that this kind of works for me, because I am learning this as you learn it.
You are going to have this in no time.
Which is, okay, I need to put that over there. So I'm getting the other side to use to clip those takeaways.
Yeah, so I have a clip on each side just so I can really make sure that I'm not wrapping any of those strands that I want off back in.
You know, before, I don't have it here, but sometimes if you put in a chopstick into the braid, you can have that be like that extra hand that holds.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So you can just stick a chopstick. In fact, I have one in the other room.
Yeah, you feel free to grab it so that people can see that trick, because that's not a trick.
It's such a good trick. Okay, do you guys want me to go grab a chopstick? You tell me if you want to see the chopstick trick. Let's see if you guys are paying attention here. Let's see there.
Let me know. I'm trying to keep her head from turning towards me. It's like awkward position. Let me know if you guys can see.
No, I think it's good.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna put a little clip right here.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm gonna clip that off, and I'll be right back.
Okay, so the same way that I was telling you when we add hair in, we want to add it right to the side. When we're breaking hair off too, we want to make sure that we're breaking it off of the very side, not underneath or on top. That way when we let these hairs down, they really flow nicely together into the curls.
Okay, so here's your chopsticks. And instead of, see how this, I usually use chopsticks when I do the diamond braid, but you see how we have a clip here that we're holding those extra pieces? Well, instead of doing it that way, which is totally fine if you want to do it that way, you can take this out and then add a chopstick into the style. So you're going to add a chopstick like that, and then you just use this chopstick to hold those extra pieces. And it actually is super easy. You can do one all the way across,
Ooh,
or what I like
that.
to do is add another one on this side, and they literally just go right in the style.
That's genius. Because then some of these clips, you want to make sure the prongs are not catching on the hair, because then when you take it out, you could mess it up. So that would pull out really smoothly. That's genius.
So this, instead of using this clip down here, you could potentially use that to hold the hair. See that? And so you can use these chopsticks to hold the hair that is the takeaway as you take it away. And it's easier sometimes to just wrap it over the chopstick than to have it kind of hook onto a clip or hook it, you know, to like unhook this and hook it again. So I usually will use chopsticks when I do the diamond braid because of the takeaways. And I've shown that before, but it's easy because you can put these in right into the style because it has a sharp edge, and you can just stick it into the hair where you need it and then use it as leverage of like arms to hold the takeaway.
I love that.
Did you guys like that? So just go, where could you get chopsticks? You can just go to the grocery store and then go down the barbecue aisle, because they're literally like shish kebab skewers for cooking. But it's fun.
Yeah, I need to go pick some up. That's a great idea.
So whenever you're teaching this, whenever I go to classes, I just bring a whole pack of skewers, and then I hand them out for them to play with when they're learning a diamond braid for a half up look. So see, my takeaway here is going to go here, and then I'm just going to wrap it over that chopstick and then wrap around. And then take this other side takeaway and wrap it over the chopstick. And so it makes it a little faster, I think.
Yes, but I'm glad I found one way to slow you down, make you go get a chopstick so you don't beat me.
This one I need a little practice on this shoot off here. It's not as big, but that is just, now that I have the mechanics of how this is supposed to look, then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go back and redo this one.
Yeah, don't anybody get discouraged if it takes you a few times. It took me a few times too.
Yeah, it took me, you know, when I first learned the infinity braid, I think it took me like 2 weeks practicing every single day before I really nailed it. And then I had to practice on how I would teach it to somebody. So.
Okay. So now that I have one side done, again, these are really flexible, which is great.
Yeah,
I can bend this up.
Oh, I love that.
To make sure that the bottom of this triangle is now going to meet the center of my star.
Yeah. Okay, this one needs work, but it's okay. I'm going to give myself a little grace.
Yes, please do.
but I see how that works out perfectly. So we've got the other one shooting off of here, but yours is so much cuter. That one looks like it needs a little help, but that's okay.
Oh, you got the idea for sure.
We totally have the idea. I love it.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the last side of our star the same way. I might have to shift where I'm standing here. Hang on.
Okay, so this is the last star. So I'm going to put my skewers in place. So you see I have those skewers in place to hold the takeaways.
Perfect. Okay, and again, I'm going to add a little more smoothing balm into this piece before I start. If it got tangled at all, you'll want to make sure you comb it really gently so that you don't disturb any pieces around it, though. Coming in from the top.
Okay, so that, I'm going to tilt her. I'm going to take this. All right, let's see who's okay. So I'm going to do my wrap around first infinity before I take away. I do think it's important on how you pin the pieces that crisscross underneath.
Definitely.
Because I could see where mine got a little wonky.
Yeah, getting them as close to the center I think is really important, and weaving them in so that they're not going to go anywhere is really important too.
But it's good to like, braiding in itself is so relaxing. It's good to kind of like put aside some time just to kind of dive into this with some music on and everything. It's for anyone that braids, it's really nice for your brain to kind of take a break from all the other stuff you have to think about, because this is like full concentration.
Absolutely. I was nervous to teach this one, to be able to like explain and think at the same time. This is one that requires a lot of thought.
No, I think it makes, like I said, if you know the diamond braid, and most of us know it really well, you can now kind of see where everything's going. And once you get those extra sides off that you're using and what you're doing with the extra hair, the pulls, it's just a matter of continuing to do the takeaway part of the diamond braid on each part.
Right.
And that's pretty easy. It's just mastering the amount and the size and where they connect and where they crisscross underneath.
Right.
But we're going to definitely see variations of this. We're going to see, this has really, I mean, honestly, Jocelyn, this has really taken that diamond braid to like a whole new level of creativity.
Well, thank you.
And that is that's why I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who's going to be on my next IG Live.
I love that. I'm so glad we could make it work so quickly too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. I'm going to, it's so satisfying when you get to the bottom.
I know.
Right?
Yes. Another thing I was so worried about today was, remember last time I came on live and we had so much internet trouble?
Oh, did we?
I did, yeah. It's like nobody could hear me.
Oh,
My gosh, please do not let
no, I mean, we could totally, we haven't had an issue at all.
good. I shouldn't have said it. Now we'll have an
I
issue.
know, right? Now everything's going to break down. Okay, so now we can see that that other side for me went a lot better.
Good. So see, after a few times, you'll just have it
This
totally.
side is sad, but that's okay. We've got the idea of like how to create the star. But again, once I see how this like shoots off, now I can really pay attention to when I'm creating this base right here that I want to keep it tight, just like to match these.
Yes.
And see how that side's thick. So that's something that I would go back and really pay attention to this base right here that I'm creating, because now I know what it's gonna, like the offshoots are gonna look like. And so you do want them to match.
Definitely.
All right. Oh my goodness. I did my first star braid.
Like, yes, you did a great job.
But yeah, it's also funny, like when you're working with all these different offshoots, make sure that you're not pulling from another offshoot, because look at, I'm gonna like show you. So this here is from here. So now it's stuck
Yeah.
together. I mean, we could definitely hide that, but be careful on like where you're pulling hair from and if it's getting connected to the other one, because you can see that that could easily happen.
Yes. Definitely
Wow,
important.
look at that spray of hair. Like that's tons of volume coming out the sides.
Yeah, and then really you have so much flexibility. Like I messed with those curls coming off of this
Yeah,
forever. You know,
you
dry
could
transfer
curl all this.
spray, just trying to make sure they flow together good.
You could curl all of this down here and add a beachy wave and just really make the back side of this like so beautiful for any occasion. For like Coachella would be amazing because it's so
Right?
cool and intricate. You can make it romantic for a bride that wants something completely different. You can do so much with this design because now you really have so much volume that you get to work with down here. Yep. And then if she has face framing pieces, this is where you would want to look at what it looks like when you're doing that first part of the braid, to
Mm-hmm.
really kind of design the front of it, because once this is all set back here, it's hard to lift and pull hair to create volume or finish the front. So before you move on to the rest of it from this top braid, make sure that you kind of doing an overview of what this looks like before you move on versus doing it now, because trying to pull that out with all this braided back here is
Mm-hmm.
probably not, as if
It
it's on a real
is so
person,
hard. Yeah.
it's going to be really hard and it's probably going to be a little painful. So
Yes.
I would check the volume on the top and how it looks in the front before you move on to the rest of the braid.
Yes. So then really, yeah, you have so much flexibility of how you do these curls and finish it off. I mean, in my head, I had even thought about like bringing this into a ponytail or doing
Oh, yeah.
so many different things you could do with what's left.
Okay, so here's a thing that I just did, is my pinning underneath the Mercedes braid was not ideal. And so what I did was I took out those pins and I repinned them more securely. And so now it really holds up to that other part. So that's something that if those pins underneath are falling out, it's okay for you to kind of take them out and replace them. And it might even hold up a little bit better, because my pinning in the beginning was not that good. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
So
But I
yeah.
was able to take out the pins that were not working and readjust them. And it really kind of held it up. Yes. So the cool thing is too, yes, you can create more like braids coming together. Like we see like from Shayla, we see from Sandy, we see from Alexandra, like we see from all these, you know, people that we're used to seeing like super creative where you take something and then you braid it down here and you kind of create, I mean, there's so much you can do, but that star braid is the coolest thing that has come out from 2022 so far.
No, I
So
appreciate that.
I think I think we're all really excited to kind of dive into it and try something new. The way you explained it and the way that you kind of figured out the crossovers and how to do it, totally easy.
Yeah.
Like absolutely really, really cool. So with that said, first I just want to say a thank you for telling us the story behind it. Thank you for being creative and pushing yourself to design something like this and sharing it with us, and then coming on here so quickly to share it with us. So that is awesome, and I appreciate your time on that. But for those that are going to watch this and those that are going to recreate this and share it with us, to tag Beyond the Ponytail and updos.by.jocelyn in those looks, and then also hashtag stars for Stevie, and I will put that in the caption so we can really just flood that hashtag with love and support and just beautiful super creative stuff, just so we can keep her in our thoughts and just shower that family with love. I think that'll be so cool. I think that's the fun part of how social media can really impact in a great way. So
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on, Angela. It was so much fun. I always appreciate your support. You're the best.
oh my gosh, you're so welcome, Lissy. Looks so gorgeous. Thank you so much. Just reading through here. Awesome. I know this is great. So again, don't forget to and honestly, you guys, share the whole process. Share like what it looks like now, and then again what it looks like again. This is something that takes a little bit of practice, but just share it with us. We're going to share it on our stories, and we're going to put it on IGTV. Yes, immediately I'm going to do some write some information in the caption for you and get that shared with everybody right away. But again, thank you for joining us on this Monday. We always love to have you, and I will talk to you really soon. But thanks to everybody for coming on and sharing this super cool look. Like yours looks so good. I love it. Yes, this is the star braid, and then hashtag stars for Stevie, which I think is so awesome. So thank you, Jocelyn, so much.
All right. Thank you, Angela. Have a great day.
You too, sweetheart. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun, you guys. It looks really challenging, but if you know how to do the diamond braid, then you can totally rock this, because it's just a matter of taking those poles, offshooting them, and then taking the other hair, crisscrossing it underneath, and then offshooting the bottom part of the diamond braid on the sides. You're gonna get, this needs a little bit of work, but my first time, not bad, not bad. It's so much fun. Curl this, do so much. I mean, just, it's about like learning and pushing yourself and diving yourself into this braid. I think it's so creative, and I'm so thankful that this community comes together and shares so much with everybody. So I just want to say thank you for joining always. I always love coming on here and seeing everybody, and starting now, can't wait to see it come together. Yes, like I can't wait to redo this and really pay attention to the size of the strands, but having it all come together. So I can't wait to see what you guys create, and I will be sharing this so you can watch it as many times as you want. So happy Valentine's Day, and I am so happy that you jumped on here and shared a little bit of your Monday with us. So take care. We'll be back on here really soon, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.